Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I am back with it's kind of an odd video, but I was recently, I think when I was, maybe it was during a what I wore last week video or during some video I was filming. I think I was talking about this fragrance right here. This is Lush Vanillary, and I was saying how this fragrance was like an old friend. It was just really, really comforting. It was just one of those fragrances that as soon as I smelled it, or as soon as I smell it, it's like, I don't know, coming home to an old friend or something. And I thought, you know what, it would be fun to do a whole video talking about fragrances in my collection that to me are like, they smell like an old friend. Now, a couple of these are old signatures of mine, and for that reason, they're kind of like old friends, but a lot of them are not. A lot of these are just that for whatever reason, when I smell them, they just smell like home to me. So anyways, yeah, I've got a bunch here. I'm gonna jump right in. I'm gonna start with a Sucre Bay fragrance, and I don't know what it is about this perfume, but every time I smell it, it smells like an old friend. It's so good. This is a vanilla fragrance, and this is called Strangeling. This is a very like cognac heavy vanilla. I believe it's got some dragon's blood in it as well. It's fantastic. Not only does it smell like an old friend and smell like home, it also smells like my most favorite time of year, which is Halloween. Like October is my favorite month in the year. And this smells like October in a bottle to me. It's such a long-lasting fragrance too. When you put this on, you're gonna smell like this. It's commitment, because you will smell like this for the entire day. Probably into the next day. It is so long lasting. It's got the most beautiful vanilla in it. The vanilla in it like has settled on the bottom of mine a little bit, and it's fantastic. Yeah, that's all I can really say. Is it's kind of a slightly resinous smelling, sweet cognac vanilla that smells like coming home. It's incredible. I love it so much. It's got some of my favorite artwork on any bottle I've ever seen on the front. It looks like she's holding a possum, and I get made fun of all the time because I love possums so much. I think that's like a little possum in her arms. Coolest thing ever. Love this. So anyways, that is Sucre Bay Strangeling. This next one, this is just, I think because this is such a familiar smell, and because I knew somebody that their signature was Lancome Poem back in the late 90s when I worked with her at a department store. But this is a fragrance from Pascal, and this is called Sultan Or. And it smells very, very similar to Lancome Poem and like the original formulation. And I love it. It's kind of nostalgic smelling, but more than that, it's like a fragrance that I've known for so long that every time I smell it, it just smells like an old friend. I love it. It's the most beautiful, syrupy, complex floral ever. Kind of vintagey smelling. Definitely kind of vintagey 90s smelling, but still very, very modern, wearable. I love this scent. It reminds me of like a really classy older woman. I just love it. I love everything about it. It smells like an old friend to me. So anyways, that is Pascal Sultan Or. Okay, these next two, I'm going to talk about these together because these are a couple of Estero oils that I think, because I've worn these so much in the kind of short amount of time that I've had these. I think I've had these for maybe 4-ish years or so, and I have huge dents in them. I mean, for me and for an oil, those are big old dents in those. This one is called Swallow Me, and this one is called The Bakery. And these are the two kind of like gourmand smelling oils in the line. I love wearing them by themselves, but I also love to layer the two together. This one is definitely, this one as in Swallow Me, is definitely more of a like buttery, edible smelling gourmand. And the Bakery is more of like a kind of slightly perfumey smelling gourmand. And then layered together, oh gosh, it is the most dreamy, like gourmand scent ever. Both of these are, they're like old friends because I've worn them so often that now anytime that I open them up and smell them, and I haven't had them in my collection for that terribly long. Every time I open these and smell them, it is like coming home. It's like, these are some of the easiest reach fragrances for me ever. All of these are, because I'm just so familiar with them in a way that, and they're so comforting in a way that not a lot of my other fragrances are. So anyways, that is Estero Swallow Me and Estero the Bakery, which she is back in town and taking orders. So if you want to grab any of these oils, now would be the time to do it because she's here. I don't know how long she'll be here or if she's leaving again anytime soon. So yeah, definitely if you want any oils, jump on them. She also has released, I did a short about this, but she has also released these like fat rollers, like big fatty rollers, and she's putting crystals in them. And I think she said she's got room to put up to 4 crystals in each one, which I think is so cool. So you'll be able to get your perfume oils with crystal in them, amethyst and different probably quartz. I haven't seen all of the crystals yet, but yeah, I'm super excited about that. Okay, this next one, this is another scent that I haven't had it for a super long time. I've had it for again, maybe 4 years or so. This is a fragrance from Duan. This is called Palm Fire. And this is Replica by the Fireplace and Killian Apple Brandy. And this is another one that, like the Strangeling, when I smell this, it smells like October in a bottle for me. And because of that, it's like a warm, cozy old friend. And I've worn the heck out of it. I made a big decant for my mom, so I haven't used this much of this, but I have used the heck out of it. This is also one of my most complimented scents. Every time I wear this, somebody asks me what I'm wearing, and it's really hard to try to explain to somebody who isn't into perfumes what scent this is. It's a clone house, but it's a clone of 2 different fragrances that have been mixed together. Like, it's very difficult to explain to people. But yeah, I do love this. It's like I said, it's like October in a bottle for me. So that means it's like an old friend. It just smells so comforting. So anyways, that is Duan Fragrances Palm Fire. Okay, this next one, this is like an old friend because this is an old signature of mine. So every time I smell this fragrance, it just, I don't know, it takes me back to the early 2000s. Well, early mid 2000s, I should say, when I used to wear this, and just being so young and, I don't know, being in my early 20s. That's what it reminds me of, and it smells like an old friend for that reason. I didn't even tell you what this is. This is Moschino I Love Love. I love this. This is it's like a fizzy green orange spritzer. That's what it smells like a fizzy green orange tonic water or something. It's so bright and effervescent smelling. It's strong, lasts forever on the skin, but is amazing in hot weather. I love this one because it is a heavier perfume that is so hot weather appropriate. I'm not a light wispy kind of fragrance person. I don't love citrusy fragrances for the most part. I don't love light, airy fragrances. Even in the dead of summer, I want a heavy perfume, and this is like, it's like a heavy citrus perfume. So anyways, yeah, I love this one. This really is like an old friend. So that is Moschino I Love Love. The next two are kind of old, well, one is definitely an old signature. This one I'm about to talk about is kind of an old signature. I wouldn't say it was a signature because it was during a time that I was far past wearing signature scents anymore. But I did have a winter where I was just like obsessed with this, and it was one of those winters, or it was one of those times where this was all I wanted to wear, so I wore it like 3 or 4 times a week probably. This is a fragrance from Replica, and this is called By the Fireplace. I love this scent. I think I went through that winter, I think I went through 2 travel sprays of it. Oh, I love this. And then finally, when I was getting down to the last little bit of a travel spray, it was right around the time that Sephora was doing their VIB sale. And so I went ahead and just bought a full bottle of it. This was before they came out with the 30 ml bottles. I really wish I could have gotten a 30 ml bottle, but that's okay. I'll have this for the rest of my life because I love this scent. And it's kind of for the same reason that the Palm Fire is like an old friend for me. This one is too, because I went through one season of being really, really obsessed with this. I love the sweet, roasty, creamy, vanilla nuttiness of this fragrance. I love it. It's kind of perfection. It's one of those scents that is like, it's kind of perfection. There's nothing wrong with this fragrance at all. But there's nothing groundbreaking about it either. But it's still perfect. It's still a perfect fragrance. Again, I usually pull this in the fall when it first starts to cool down, which is usually about October for us. And so to me, this is like October in a bottle, which is my favorite time of year. And I don't know, it just reminds me of my season-long kind of love affair with it, and it's just such a comforting scent. It's just like, I don't know, it's like coming home. I love it. It's like an old friend. So anyways, that is Replica by the Fireplace. And then the only other scent that I have here that is like an old friend because it's an old signature of mine is Stella from Stella McCartney. This is one of my favorite perfumes ever made. It is my favorite, hands down, my favorite rose perfume that I've ever smelled. And I went through, I was on a rose kick for probably, I don't know, like a year and a half, a couple years ago. And over that year and a half, I think I amassed probably, between the rose fragrances that I actually have had and kept and the ones that I decluttered, I probably amassed over 50 rose fragrances. And I can still very confidently say that this is my favorite rose ever. I don't think anything will ever be able to top Stella. I get asked, no matter what the situation is, anytime I show this in a video, I'm always inevitably going to be asked if I know of a fragrance that smells like this, because there are so many people out there that love this perfume too, that don't have a bottle of it anymore but want something that smells like this. And this has become, even this reformulated version has become difficult and expensive to find because all of Stella McCartney's fragrances have sadly been discontinued. And yeah, I always get in every single video that I show this, somebody inevitably is going to ask me if I know of a fragrance that smells like this. No. I've smelled a couple that are pretty close. There's an Erin fragrance. I think it's called Grass Rose. I've got a sample of it that my friend Christine sent over to me. That is probably the closest thing that I've smelled to Stella. And then Miller Harris, I think Rose Silence or Rose Silences. I can't remember exactly what it's called. That's another one that it's close. It's not exact. I don't think that there's anything that smells exactly like Stella, But those are the two closest things I've ever smelled. This is absolutely like an old friend, because this was one of those fragrances that I had seen an ad for it in a magazine. This is one of those fragrances that I was waiting for it to come out. Like, I was anticipating it so that as soon as it was released, I could buy a bottle, which is what I did. I saved up as much money as I could, because back then this was very expensive for me. I think it was, I mean, it was over $100, and I was in my early 20s, and I was working, I was making like $10 an hour. So I think I think I was making $9 an hour back then. So I saved up, and as soon as this perfume dropped, I ordered a bottle, and I've been obsessed ever since. I've had multiple bottles of the original formulation as well as the reformulated version. I don't know, I could go on about this perfume forever and ever. I just love it. It's like an old friend, because it's one of my favorite perfumes of all time, and because I've had it for so long at this point, like over 20 years, I think. So anyways, that is Stella from Stella McCartney. Okay, this next one. This is a fragrance that, number one, I never hear anybody talk about. Number two, I've had this in my collection. This brand sent this to me probably 5 or 6 years ago. Probably 5 years ago, I would say. And I don't talk about it much, and I don't even know why. But I never hear anybody talk about this scent. And I don't wear this as often as I should, for as much as I love it. But every time I pull out this scent and I smell it, I'm like, oh gosh, there's something, oh my gosh, there is something so comforting about this, and it smells like an old friend, like I've come home. This is a fragrance from, I think the house is called The Alchemist, and this is called Alchemy 33. So they sent me all three of the fragrances that they have. They've got a men's, a woman's, and then a unisex one. This is my favorite one, the women's. And every time I try to explain this, it's so hard for me, because there's something about it that gives me Chanel Coco Mademoiselle vibes, but it's not. It's not Coco Mademoiselle, and it's really, really smooth. It's really smooth. I mean, like butter smooth. I can't remember what this has in it. I feel like it's got rose and sandalwood. I can't completely remember the notes in this one, but I love this. Up until not this past time that I moved into this apartment, but up until I moved into that last rental house we were in, this would live out, because this was an easy reach for me. I love this scent. It's so feminine and super classic smelling, really classy. I love everything about this. It's made in Italy too. Who knew? I had no idea this is made in Italy. Oh, I love this though. I love it. It's so good. So anyways, that is Alchemy 33 from, I think it's called The Alchemist or Alchemist. Okay, and then the scent that inspired this video, Vanillary from Lush. I won't spend too much time on this, but this is like coming home in a bottle to me. I don't know what it is about this, but this is definitely an old friend. I've been wearing this scent since, I want to say 2010. I feel like the Gorilla perfumes came out in 2009 or 2010. I got a discovery kit of all of the first fragrances that they released in the US. Now, I know that they had been making perfume outside of the US for a long time, but if you live here in the US, you know that we get everything last, and it takes years for things to come to the US. So I'm talking about like when it came to the US. And I fell in love with this perfume immediately. I loved it. I used to wear it all the time. And again, it's another one that has been in my collection since that time. And I love it. I wear this one to bed a lot. It's an absolute monster. It's cozy. It's got a weird powderiness to it that I always find really comforting. So anyways, that is Lush Vanillary. This next one, this is a Dossier scent. This is a clone of YSL Mon Paris. This one is called Floriental Brown Sugar. I don't think it's called that anymore. They renamed everything that had the word Oriental in it. They renamed to something else. And I'm not totally sure. It might just be called brown sugar now. But anyways, it's a clone of YSL Mon Paris. I love this scent. This is another one that I haven't even had this in my collection for that long, maybe like 3 or 4 years. But it's one of those scents that every time I smell this, it's almost familiar to me, even though it's not familiar to me. So this is different in that this is not an old signature. This isn't even something I've had around for that long, but it's one of those scents that every time I smell it or wear it, it's like I've always had it. I think a lot of people feel like that about Mon Paris though. I think that that's why it's such a popular fragrance. This one, yeah, this one's got patchouli in the base, and you get the patchouli, but I think it's the brown sugar and patchouli and the way that it is blended together. Oh my gosh, it's delicious smelling. It's so good. It really tames the patchouli to where it almost doesn't even, it still smells like patchouli, but it's like a really mellow patchouli. I love it. And then it's got raspberry too. So the raspberry and the brown sugar and the patchouli, ugh, so good. Yeah, definitely like an old friend. Love this. So that is Dossier, probably just brown sugar. Okay, this next one. This one is like an old friend because I have worn this to absolute death in the summers since I've had it. I've had this maybe 3 or 4 years now. This is Onyx from the Sage Lifestyle. And I've got the oil as well as a little perfume, spray perfume, and I layer them. I've taken this on different vacations or different little trips that we've been on in the summertime. And because of that, and I've just worn it to death. And because of that, it's just like an old friend for me. This is what I would consider one of my like summertime old friends. I love it. It's one of my most worn perfumes for sure. It's just such an amazing scent. This is like a dark, sultry, grown up coconut. It's like a perfumey coconut. I think it's got coconut and oak moss and tobacco, and it's sweet. And like I said, very dark and sultry smelling. I love it. And again, this is like a summertime old friend for me because I've just worn it to death. So anytime I smell this, I'm like, oh yes, there you are. So anyways, that is Onyx from the Sage Lifestyle. And then last but not least, this one, I think this one is like an old friend because I've got so many versions, so many flankers of this, that anytime I smell just the original, I don't know, it's so familiar that it's like coming home. This is Halomar from Guerlain. This is the Eau de Cologne formulation. Normally I would wear the Eau de Toilette, usually when I wear this fragrance, I wear the EDT, but my EDT is in the little bat bottle or the little batwing bottle, which I adore. And so my beautiful friend Jacqueline sent this to me, I think last year. And so now when I want to wear this scent, I wear this one because then I don't have to use up my special EDT one. And this is so similar. Even though this is an Eau de Cologne and it should be a lot lighter, it's not a lot lighter. It's still very much Halomar and very much like even the EDT. It's, I would say, the same. It seems to be about the same concentration to me as the EDT. And again, I think that this one is like an old friend to me because I have so many versions of Halomar. And for the most part, they all have the original Halomar DNA. So anytime I smell just like the original in any form except for the EDP formulation, I can't do the EDP formulation. But the EDT, this one, the Eau de Cologne, yeah, anytime I smell these, it's like, I don't know, it just smells like an old friend because I have worn so many versions of this fragrance with this DNA that it's like so familiar to me, so comforting. It's just a perfect winter fragrance. I love this. I love wearing this. I love wearing this on really cold days when I have to put on a 100% wool sweater that is like perfect when you're in the cold, but then when you go inside you have to take it off because it's so hot. Those are the days for this fragrance. I love it. I love it so much. So anyways, that is Guerlain Shalimar. And that is going to be it, guys. I feel like that I've been talking forever. Like, this has been a really long video. I do hope that you all enjoyed it, though. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.